Hey, curious kids, welcome to a place called space. Today we are going to talk about Launch America. So that's the title of today's episode, and it is because tomorrow NASA is launching 2 astronauts from a rocket. All right, so we're going to learn why this is so special, where it's launching, who's launching, and why is there so much excitement right now. Like, it's special, there's a lot of excitement. So we're going to dive all into that on this episode of A Place Called Space. So welcome. I see that Miss Malley's class from Milton, Ontario, you are back, so welcome to everyone who's returning. If you've got questions about what we're talking about today, please put them in the comments, which is either like down here or over here, depending on where you're watching, and I'll answer them. So what's going on? We're launching a rocket tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so if you're watching this live, it's Tuesday. Wednesday, May 27th at 1:33 Pacific time. So that's where I'm at in California, 1:30 in the afternoon. Or if you're on the East Coast of the United States, or I'm not exactly sure what time zone Ontario, Canada is in, but way in New York, it's going to be 4:30 in the afternoon. So I've got my globe here, right? My inflatable planet Earth. We've got the different countries. It's hard to see with that light. There we go. We got Russia and Asia over here. We got Africa, Europe. Why am I showing this? Well, where is Florida? Let's just talk about that really quickly. So we got the United States, and you can see this X right here. So that marks the spot of where I am, right here, Los Angeles, California. So Florida is if we go over to the east side of the United States, you see this little peninsula. So peninsula means that it's land surrounded by water on 3 sides. So 1, 2, 3, connected to the United States. Florida is right there. So that's where the rocket is launching tomorrow. Right there. Boom. And thank you. Eastern time, Ontario. Okay, so it's going to be 4:33 is the time that it's supposed to be launching for you in Ontario, Canada. Right here out of Florida. Cape Canaveral is what we call it. It's the Air Force Station over there with NASA, not Langley, NASA Kennedy Space Center, which is where we're launching the rockets from. So Cape Canaveral, and it's Launch Complex 39A. There's numbers and stuff. So there's 3 launch pads. So launch pad, right, it's the area that the rocket sits on to then launch up. So there's 3 circles, essentially, that the rocket sits on that can launch. So there's 39A, 39B, and 39C. So A, why is A? Why are we doing that? Well, it's the first one, and it's special. So there was many launches. Where is it? Remember this? Let me bring it up here. So this is the Saturn V. We talked about this is the rocket that brought us to the moon with Apollo 11, and it launched on Launch Pad 39A. So that rocket ship, I'm sure you can still see it, took off, launched, and then brought this thing to the moon where the Apollo astronauts landed on the moon and came back. So we call it the historic Launch Pad 39A because, I mean, it's what we jumped off of Earth from to get to the moon. Ooh. You gotta be really careful with my big Legos because sometimes they fall and they break. Not cool. You don't want to break any rockets. So why is this so special? Well, so we started with this rocket, right? Saturn V. I should just keep it out here in front. So the Saturn V is the rocket that we were launching, astronauts up in here, to go into outer space and to the moon. All right? After that, we had something else that took astronauts into space. Remember what that is? You can see it over here. That's right. So the Space Shuttle. The Space Shuttle launched from Florida as well and took astronauts in outer space inside here. They did not go to the moon. The Space Shuttle only went into space, like around Earth. Didn't go outside of Earth, didn't go to the moon, didn't go to Mars. It only brought stuff outside of Earth. So we were launching these, and they both launched from Florida. So they launched from America. So we have a couple different launch sites in the United States. So we've got, right, Florida that we looked at before. But we also launched stuff from California over here, sometimes in Virginia. So we've been launching from the United States. We're launching from the United States, astronauts. So we've been launching robots for a while. We can still do that. But we haven't launched astronauts from the United States since we stopped using the Space Shuttle in 2011. So it's 2020. How many years ago is that? 2020, so 2019, 2018, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9. We're already past it, 11. So it's 9 years. So it's been at least 9 years since we've launched astronauts from American soil. So that's why we're calling it Launch America, because now we're launching our astronauts. I got two astronauts that we're going to be launching from American soil. So it's the first time since we retired the Space Shuttle in 9 years that we're going to be doing this. You're like, well, what? We haven't launched anyone from America to outer space in 9 years? No. Yes, but no. So we have launched astronauts, right, on rockets, but NASA hasn't done that. We didn't have a rocket that was working, you know? We didn't have the Saturn V, we didn't have the Space Shuttle, so we were using a Russian rocket called a Soyuz. I'm going to write this down so you know how to spell the word I'm talking about. I'll move my astronaut here. So we got to do the turn Kevin this way. We got to get baby Kevin coming up. Well, that's not baby Kevin. Where's baby Kevin? There's baby Kevin. Oh, it's different now. So this one. All right, this is what I want to show you. So we'll put our astronaut here. Okay, so we got the, I'll write this down up top. Too high, too high. So our Space Shuttle. So that stopped in 2011. Okay, so since then we've been using the Soyuz, S-O-Y-U-Z, the Soyuz, which is from Russia. So we've been putting our astronauts, got to move astronaut in so you can see them a little bit better. We've been paying Russia some money to have our astronauts fly on their rockets. It's kind of like if you go on a plane, you don't own the plane, right? You give someone some money and then they let you sit on a seat on the plane and then you can go and visit your friends, your family, go to Disney World. Yeah. But, so we've got to pay that. So the United States had to pay Russia money. All right, why? Glenn asked, why did we stop using the space program? So we got, in 2011, it stopped. Why? Well, I'm going to draw a symbol, and you tell me if you know what this symbol is, okay? Do you know what that is? It's a dollar sign. I'm going to draw another one. So it's $2 signs because, like, pretty much it was just too expensive to keep using the Space Shuttle. It was very expensive, and we didn't have a lot of money because NASA takes money from the government, and we have to do everything. So astronauts are just one thing that we do. The other things that we do is we go and we visit other places. I got this really cool thing. So here's Jupiter. It's spinning around. So we send robots like out to Jupiter too. So we've got astronauts. We're sending robots to Jupiter. We're having satellites orbit Earth. So we have communication and GPS, and that all costs money. Now we've got to be choosy. We got to decide what money we want to spend. Let me just put that back. There we go. So we can't do everything, so we got to choose. So they decided that we're going to stop spending money on the Space Shuttle, and we're going to go and pay Russia less money to just buy a seat. So how much do you think it's going to cost to go to space? Let's see. What do we think? What do we think? I'm going to write down some numbers. So do you think it costs $100? Does it cost $1,000? Does it cost, we're just going to jump big, is it $100,000? What do you think? Maybe, what's this number? $10 million? So this, that many zeros, right, is million. Million. That's a lot of money. So how much do you think it costs to go into outer space? It's more than all of these. It costs more. So there's a color I save when I need to do something super special. That's green. It's back here. Green is the color of money. So for one seat, one astronaut seat on the Russian rocket, it costed $81 million. $81 million. Hold on. It's a little covering up my million a little bit. Let's shift it. Shift it. You can see million maybe a little bit better there. Yeah, there we go. All right. $81 million to go to space. You got that kind of money? You want to give me some? I would love to be an astronaut and go into outer space. One day, but not yet. So how many times did we do this? Well, we sent 38 astronauts on 35 different launches. So you don't just pay the $81 million and then it's the launch and you can fill up like 3 seats. For each person that's on there that's from NASA, we had to pay $81 million. So if you take 38 people times 81, moving $81 million. How much is that? 3.078 billion. $3.078 billion. That's a whole lot of money, right? So throughout this time, so it was cheaper to pay Russia this money to bring our astronauts in outer space. But eventually we wanted to bring that back here and be launching from American soil. I'm going to bring myself back quickly here. So that camera's a little choppy. Kind of saw that. It was kind of like cutting in and out a little bit. So I'll try and limit that one. Got some technical difficulties today. But so in that time, right, NASA's like, we got to pay Russia some money because the space shuttle is costing us too much money. So what NASA's really good at is doing things that have never been done before, right? Like landing people on the moon, sending a spacecraft to Jupiter, sending the Voyager spacecrafts, right, into interstellar space. So up past Neptune, up past Pluto, they're flying away billions of miles away. So NASA figured out how to get people into space. And they're like, you know what? Hey you, all of you out there in America, we would like you to have companies or to start companies to try and figure out how to bring astronauts into space from America, right? We want you to do it. So instead of us using the government money to do it, we've got different companies. There's Boeing, Virgin Galactic, Northrop Grumman, Sierra Nevada, SpaceX, all these different space companies. And we're like, if you can figure out a better and a cheaper way to do it, then we can start launching people from here on America. So like NASA will figure out how to do it, but they don't find the cheapest ways to do it. Now we've got a bunch of different companies trying to figure it out. So each of them wants to make it cheaper so that they get the job. Because if you're going out and you want to buy a soda pop, are you going to pay $5 for a soda pop or like $2 for a soda pop? I'd rather pay $2. It's the same thing, but this company here has a better way to have cheaper soda. Same soda, it's cheaper, $2 soda, right? So awesome. Darshan, thank you for tuning in and watching. Appreciate your support. Okay, so we've been paying a bunch of this money to Russia, but now finally we have the ability to bring astronauts back to outer space from US soil. So, how? Who? When? So it's tomorrow, right? So there were 2 companies. Which way do you do 2? If you're from Texas, you do it this way. Peace sign, 2. Maybe some people do this. This one's more like a 3, but 2 companies. I'm gonna, first off, we're gonna bring small baby Kevin back in here. Where is he? He's hiding. Sometimes baby Kevin likes to play hide and seek, and then we can bring him back. There he is. Hey, baby Kevin. How you doing? Doing pretty good. Awesome. Okay. This is what we're looking at now. All right. So this over here, just got to move it so I can see. little bit here, a little bit. All right, it's called Commercial Crew. So the Commercial Crew program is what NASA called the private company, so the other companies trying to figure out how to bring people into space. So there's two of them that are planning on doing it this year. So tomorrow we got one, but one of them is this one here. So this is called Starliner, and this one's from Boeing. It's a company that also does planes. So if you've flown in a plane, you've probably flown in a Boeing plane at some point. So they have this one, and it's a capsule. So you remember the Saturn V, this big rocket here, so it was a capsule, right? That's the little thing on top. This piece here. The Space Shuttle was like a space plane, right? Kind of looks like a plane, but it's different. So we're going back to the capsule, and this is Boeing's capsule called Starliner. And then this is SpaceX's crewed Dragon. And you can see there's a dragon up on the top there. And that is what is launching tomorrow. All right, and we've got 2 astronauts that are going to be launching on the Dragon. So the Dragon, see this rocket here, they have been sending it up to the International Space Station. My friend here, International Space Station, it's kind of small. But they've been sending the Dragon without people for a while. So we've been figuring out, it's like, okay, we can do it, it's safe, it's great. Now we need to do some people. So tomorrow we're going to launch. But who? Okay, so here's the first astronaut. So there's 2 astronauts in, and this one is Bob Behnken. So he is from St. Louis, Missouri. If you're from Missouri, he's also from your home state. And he's done 3 spacewalks. So that means he's been outside in a spacesuit, floating around, woo, in microgravity. Super cool. So he was also on the Space Shuttle. So that was the last thing we had. Was our Space Shuttle friend here. But Bob's launching tomorrow with his friend Doug. Doug was also on the Space Shuttle. He is from New York. So if you're in the Eastern time zone, that's where New York is. So you got some astronauts from your home state there if you're from New York. Now, Doug, what's super cool about Doug was, you remember we used to use the Space Shuttle. The last time we launched it was in July of 2011. Doug was on this Space Shuttle. He was on the last Space Shuttle to launch from American soil into outer space. And now he's the first one to launch again from American soil. Now there's a pretty neat story with Doug and the last Space Shuttle launch. So President Obama was, not President Obama, yeah, it was President Obama at the time, I believe. So they had a conversation, and what happened was they brought a flag, a United States flag, so the thing that's on his arm, this little symbol, with the light right here, there it is. So United States flag, they brought one up to the International Space Station, and it was like, okay, this flag was the last thing launched from American soil to the ISS with people. Now, we're just going to stay up here in the International Space Station until we launch people again from American soil, and then we'll bring that flag back. So it's pretty neat that, I'm bumping stuff around, it's pretty neat that Doug, one of the astronauts that brought the flag up, is going up there again, and he's going to bring it home. That's pretty cool. He gets to see everything. Now, he's had to wait 9 years to do that. It's a really long time. That's just a neat little story. It's like, we're going to bring it back at some point. So it's a little like treasure. All right, Miss Malley's class's question. How do they decide who gets to go? That's a very good question. So there's a bunch of astronauts, right? So how did we decide that it was Bob and Doug? Well, essentially, there's a committee at NASA who chooses. They decide which astronauts are right for the mission. What is their experience? How old are they? What are they doing? Where are they going to go? What is the types of skills and personalities and previous track record, so what they've done in the past, to figure out who's right for this mission and what does that mean going forward. So it's a committee of people who sit there and you kind of figure it out and pick it. Right? It's not like an order of like, it's this person, and then this person, and this person, and this person. It's not like a list and then they go down it. They figure out who's the right people for the mission. So all people put their minds together to figure it out. Great question. And how long are they going to be up there? I'm going to address that at the end, but we're not sure yet. So we don't have a set time. So they're going to go up there, and it kind of depends on how things go, right? If things are all hunky-dory, meaning there's no issues, maybe they'll come back sooner, or maybe they can stay later. But if there's issues and they got to figure out maybe something's wrong, they've got to take the time, figure it out to make sure it's safe if anything happens before they can come back. So we don't have an exact time yet. NASA hasn't told us what the plan is. So we've got these two, and then this is their mission. It's called the DM2 or Demo 2. So this is the mission patch. That's pretty cool, you know? Like, let me put on my NASA jacket. Maybe I'll get one of these patches, and then I can add it where? Maybe here, or right there. So I need to find one of these patches, and then I can add it to my shoulder right there. I think that'll be pretty neat. So it's called Demo 2. So what's happening? So let's just walk through the launch really quick. So it's kind of small. Hopefully you can see it. But it starts over here in the corner, and we do launch. So launch, and it goes the ascent, and I can't point over there because look, oh, my arms are in the way. What happened? Oh, it's cool. There they are. All right. So it goes up, it goes higher, it does some flips, takes apart. So if this is the rocket, right, it's going this way. Eventually, this part goes up and keeps going. This rocket itself turns and starts coming back to Earth. That's what we're seeing in the bottom on the way other side. So this rocket's going to come back from space like, and then it's going to land on a boat without any people on it in the ocean. Yeah. So it's called Of Course I Still Love You is the name of the boat. And it's going around out there. And then this rocket is just going to land on it. So we can reuse this part of the rocket. Now this is the part with the people on it, right? It keeps going. You can see it in the top far side. It's shooting out. And then look, now it's coming in. It's coming in from over there. And you see that it's going to be going up and then into the International Space Station. So that's on the right-hand side. The left hand, so like literally right here is just how the International Space Station is going around Earth. It's going to go, it's going to dock to it. We've got the International Space Station, so let's just do it. So this is a lot bigger than what it actually looks like. It looks like about this size here. So it's going to come up, and it's going to dock to the International Space Station. And then the astronauts are going to get out if everything's all good, go inside, float around, run some tests to make sure things are all good. And then, go to the next one. Then they got to leave the International Space Station. So then they're going to undock. International Space Station's still going to be up there. But then our astronauts in the capsule are leaving the International Space Station, coming back to Earth, and then they're going to go around Earth and then splash. Splash here, right off of Florida's coast. So right where they launched, they're going to come back and splash down in the water. Like splash down like a huge cannonball from outer space? Yes, cannonball from outer space. That's how the astronauts are getting home. Now it's not just, they don't just come in and just like go real quick. They've got, what are these? What's this? What's this? We need Big Kevin to come back here. So here, so coming up from underneath, what does this look like? It's a parachute. So they're actually going to have 3 parachutes. This one only has 1. So it's going to be a parachute that helps slow them down. So if they're way up in outer space, let's see if it'll slow down enough. Yeah, see, it worked. So they're going to slow down. Oh, I have an idea. Let's see if I can make this happen. So I always like to tell you to stay hydrated, right? Drink water. You think I can land it in my cup? It's not that far of a distance. I'm ready to lift it up higher. What do you think? Oh, I didn't mean to drop it, but okay, we'll get 3 tries. 3 tries. So I missed once. Let's try that again. It's hard to do this. Oh! Success! So they're going to splash down in the water, and it floats. Don't worry, it floats. And then a boat is going to come and pick them up. They're going to open the hatch, which is the door. There's a door. And they're going to pick it up, and then they're going to go on the boat and return back to land. I made it on the 2nd try. I'm so happy with that. I was like afraid that we're going to do all 3 and I wasn't going to be able to splash down in the ocean. But we did it. We did it. It's all good. Success, success, success. Okie dokie. All right, so we're gonna do a little recap, right? So it is Launch America. So this is the first time since 2011, since we retired the space shuttle because it was just too much money to launch astronauts from American soil. So now we're using the SpaceX. Here's my capsule. We're going to be using SpaceX's Crew Dragon to launch tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time, here in America from Florida. It's got our 2 astronauts, got Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. They're going to go up and bring that flag back that was put up there by the original Space Shuttle launch, or not the original, the last one in July of 2011. Now, we're talking about this launch tomorrow, right? It's the launch, right? How are we going to watch it? Well, you can watch it with me. Don't you want to do that? Well, I hope so. It's kind of cool. So tomorrow, I'm going to have a watch party. So you can tune in just like you're doing today. I'll have another little thumbnail, another little link, and it's going to be the launch watch party. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. I'm going to do this in real time to kind of show you what's up. So in the links below, let's see, in the description below, right, you get to see a little description, and underneath that there's some links, right? So I've got different links where you can watch it. You can watch it on NASA TV, you can watch it on SpaceX YouTube, you can watch it on SpaceX's website, or you can watch it here with me. And I'm going to show you what it's kind of going to look like. And then we can talk, you can ask questions about things that happen. If it gets delayed because of bad weather, we can talk about that. If anything goes wrong, hopefully not. Or if anything goes right, which hopefully it all does, we can talk about what rocket launches are like. We can ask questions and hang out. So what it's probably going to look like is something like this. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You're like, Kevin, what's going on? So tomorrow, it's going to be at 1:30 Pacific Time. We'll start at about 10 minutes before, so about 1:20 Pacific Time. That's when it'll start and go live, and all of this will be shown tomorrow in the little description. So I'm going to call this the launch. You're like, Kevin, what are you doing? Hold on, I'm going to show you like what we're going to be looking like. Okay, boom. So here is NASA's YouTube, right? Oh, hi. Things are like getting in the way. So we've got the NASA YouTube site here. Let's make it big, kind of like this. So tomorrow, peekaboo, don't worry, Kevin's coming back. So tomorrow, it's going to kind of look like this, I think. I think this is what I want to do with you, is just be like here, you know, I'll be looking at the comments, asking questions, and then we get the launch right here. There'll be a little play-by-play. Maybe I'll put some cool graphics up here and down here. But yeah, tomorrow at 1:20 approximately Pacific Time, or 4:20 Eastern, and in Ontario, we're gonna come here, and then we can have a live watch party together. You can ask me all the questions, Miss Madley's class. Wes, you can ask some questions too, Glenn as well, and we can hang out and watch a live rocket launch together. If you've never seen one, I would love to be with you via the internet to watch the first live rocket launch, because actually no one's going to be there. No one is actually going to be at the rocket launch except for the president. He's the only one that's allowed to go. Usually they have a bunch of people with pictures and stuff, but nope, none of that stuff. No one can go. We're all watching it on the TV. So hopefully you can come in tomorrow and watch with me on this amazing, so cool new era of human spaceflight. So look for that shortly. I'm going to put up a little cool picture thingy and then plan it out, scheduled tomorrow. You can come back and watch the launch with me. All right. And remember, in the meantime, never stop learning.